God, training for this 48-hour challenge has turned into a massive game of snakes and ladders for me. Sometimes I'm up, mostly I'm down, partly because of work, partly because I got COVID, mostly because I can't stick to my diet. In my case, the cans of beer were definitely open, and the cake definitely came out of its Tupperware box. If you know, you know. It's also taken me 4 separate attempts to make this video, as you'll see. Anyway, here are some tips to help you with planning for the 48-hour challenge. Well, less tips as, here are the 4 things that I'm bound to cock up on. If you're new to the channel, and the 48-hour challenge is exactly what it sounds like, a competition amongst subscribers to this channel to see how far they can ride in just 48 hours. I've done a couple of previous videos explaining the rules, and you can find them in the link below and in a link to the website, ridingalongwayhome.com. The thing I always overestimate on every trip is my pace. See, the temptation is to apply some very simple maths. So you say, oh, I've got 48 hours, I'll sleep 6 hours a night, give myself another 6 hours for eating and drinking and faffing around. That takes 18 hours off, I've got 30 hours left. I ride on club rides at an average of 25 kilometers an hour quite comfortably. 25 kilometers an hour times 30 hours, I could do 750k. The thing is, I won't be riding 25 kilometers an hour average, will I? I'll lose a kilometre an hour at least because I'm riding solo. Another kilometre because I've got bags. Another one because I'm navigating on roads I don't know. Another one because I'm going through towns and they've got traffic and they've got traffic lights. Another one because I've got hills. Another one because I'll be riding in the dark for some of the time. And most of all, I'll be riding with fatigue. That could mean I'm riding 7 kilometres an hour slower, so I'm only riding an average of 18 kilometres an hour. So now my theoretical 750 has dropped to more like 500. But is even that accurate? When I look back through my Strava records last night, I realised that over the last 12 months, the best 2-day total I'd achieved was somewhere around 280k. So maybe my first goal should just be to beat that. Try and get to 300. Anyway, the guys who've done Audaxes will tell you that what really counts is average speed over elapsed time when you're working against the clock. So one of the things that I've just done in the last week or so is turn off all the auto pause on my Strava and Garmin and everything else, so I'm getting a much more accurate figure of how fast I'm going. For the 48-hour challenge, I am going to try and work to going at an average of 20 kilometers an hour. The next thing on my list of permanent mistakes is my sleep strategy, or more pertinently, my recovery strategy. Some of you may be planning to sleep in church doorways or bus stops. Not me. I'm sticking with tried and tested. I will be sleeping in 2 Premier Inns on the 2 nights I'm going to have a rest, because I know they've got decent showers, I know I'm going to get a decent night's sleep, and that's important. Now I know exactly which one of you is shouting at the screen, there's more to recovery than simply sleep. We will all need to stretch. End of the ride and probably the next morning before you get back on the bike. We are all going to stretch, aren't we? Which brings me to cock up item number 3, eating and drinking. Despite the fact that I've done 5 years of long endurance rides now, I still cannot get my eating and drinking right. What I have done now is set an alarm on my Garmin to remind me to eat and drink every half hour, but I'm absolutely terrible at managing it. There's no way you'll bring enough food with you for the whole 48 hours, so you are going to have to stop, but where and when? Of course the temptation is to stop at lovely cycling friendly cafes, sit down for a coffee and a bit of cake. I'm not going to be stopping at cafes and restaurants though. I will be adding to my map on Komoot the locations of small corner shops and village stores, but more importantly 24-hour petrol stations and, dare I say it, McDonald's. Now I know what you're going to say, McDonald's food is full of fat, sugar and salt. You're right, that's kind of the point. Plus you always know what you're going to get, they'll always be open, and there's hot food, and it's transportable, and you can keep an eye on your bike through the window while you get your food. Well, what about route planning, you say? Good question. None of them are perfect. I've used Komoot, Garmin, Strava, Map My Ride, Ride with GPS. In the end, what I've opted for is creating the route in Strava, using the minimize elevation feature, exporting the file, putting it in Komoot, and then using Komoot to note the points of interest like where I'm going to eat and where I'm going to sleep. Then I've also checked through the route kilometre by kilometre to look for kind of unnecessary diversions that all of these mapping things seem to send you down. Anyway, that's it. See you next time. Move along, nothing to see here.